You belong on every ground your feet grace, so don't ever feel out of place. Take up space and belong. This earth is your birthplace. Okay, y'all, so to continue my 7 days of Christmas movie review series, I'm going to review Our Little Secret on Netflix. It's on Netflix, it's with Lindsay Lohan, and I'll put the rest of the cast on the screen. But it's starring Lizzie Lohan. I haven't seen Lizzie Lohan in a movie in years, and so when she popped up on my recommendations on Netflix, I was like, okay, I gotta watch this. I haven't seen her on screen in a long time, and I actually think that Lizzie Lohan is a dope actress or whatever. Like she just had an unfortunate life, and I just think she's always done well in movies. So it starts off with her daddy narrating the relationship between her, which is her name is Avery, and her longtime friend turned boyfriend, Logan. And he's basically talking about how they were inseparable. First they were friends, and they were inseparable, and then that friendship turned into a romantic relationship or whatever. He also mentions her losing her mom, um, her losing her mom or whatever when she was a teenager. I think, if I'm not mistaken, either it was a teenager or in her early 20s or whatever. So then it goes to Logan and Avery in the car, and she's driving to her house, her family's house or whatever, and he's drunk, and like he's dealing with the fact that she's about to leave and she's about to go to I think the UK for a job opportunity, and he's trying to like get her to stay or whatever. And so like they're at the door, and he's like, she's like, "You're drunk," and he's like, "No, I'm not." She said, "Where are you right now?" And he said, "At your going away party." And she's like, "Don't, like, stop playing around." Goes inside the house, opens the door, and surprise! She hears like her family and friends are having a party for her. And so this whole time, Logan is drunk at the party. He's acting crazy. The daddy pulls him aside, and he tells him like, "I can see y'all really working out if you play your cards right." And he tells him like, you should do it. You should give a speech or whatever. And so the daddy gets the mic, and he starts like talking at first, and then he introduces Logan to give the speech. During the speech, Logan confronts Avery about leaving, um, running away from her problems, running away from the fact that her mama died. And he tells her, like, if your mom was here, you wouldn't be running. I wouldn't have to worry about you, like, leaving. You would never leave or whatever. And it really hurts her feelings because he's basically using her mom's death to make her feel guilty for making a decision that for herself. And I really understood why she felt the way that she felt. Um, he was supposed to be like proposing to her, but after she declines it, he ain't even get to ask the question, "Will you marry me?" She just says, "No, I will not marry you." And after she declines it, he doesn't take it well. That's when he starts going off. So she storms off and goes into her room, and she's crying. And you can tell that she's really hurt by the situation. And it was weird to me to see that, but at the same time, like the people in the party knowing how hurt she was, but nobody going after her to make sure she was fine. And Logan ends up leaving, storming out as well. So they're both mad at each other. So then it goes 10 years in the future or in the present because it's set in 2024. So it's 10 years in the present. Avery and Logan are, they're doing, well in their careers and stuff like that. He's in, architect slash construction worker, and she has a MBA, a master's or whatever, I think in business administrator. That's what that is. And like she's really good at like helping people with business proposals and stuff like that. Okay. So 10 years later, Avery and Logan are out or about to meet their significant other's family. So they're both preparing to go and meet their significant other's family. Avery goes to visit her dad before she leaves to go meet her boyfriend Cam's family for Christmas. And on the other end, Logan goes to visit his mom and grandma before he goes to meet his girlfriend, Cassie, I think, if I'm not mistaken, her family. Uh, Cam is briefing Avery on his family because she's nervous. Like, he's telling her the do's and don'ts and, telling her little things about his mom so she could try to win her over. And, while they're like walking into the party, and Logan and Cassie pulls up to meet her family. So Avery and Cam gets there first, and they're like everybody speaking, making their rounds and stuff. The mom is happy to see Cam. She pretty much ignores Avery. So at the same time, Logan and Cassie walks in, they get the same greeting and they talking to everybody or whatever, and then all of a sudden Logan and Avery comes face to face and they realize that they're dating siblings. So Avery pulls Logan to like the closet or something. He says he has to go to the bathroom. She tells him she'll help him find it, and they go, and she tells him, she makes him promise not to say nothing, like don't tell them that we used to date. And after she convinces him, he agrees to it. So everyone loves Logan. He makes connections with her family and with a family friend who could help his career or whatever. Erica, who is Cameron and Cassie's mother, brings Cameron's friend, like this girl Sophia that's supposed to be friends with Cameron. All right, she was friends with him for a long time. She brings her over to speak because she doesn't like Avery, and she's like, Cam, look at Sophia, she's home, whatever, trying to dangle her into his face so he could pay attention to her and not Avery. But he kind of tries to like play it off or whatever. Logan's girlfriend, Cassie, invites Avery. The next morning, they're having breakfast and stuff like that, and they're talking about all of the things that they had planned that day or whatever. So Cassie ends up inviting Avery to go with Logan to get a Christmas tree, since the rest of the family were going to get a portrait painted of them. Some tradition that their mom has, since they were kids. Avery think that is weird, and I agree with her. It is weird. Logan proposes to help Avery look good to Erica if she helps him with his business proposal. She agrees after Cam asks her to bring back wine on their way back from getting a tree. When they get back to the house, the family reveals the sketch, and Avery laughs because she's high after eating the gummy that was in Callum's pocket. Logan ended up getting the jacket out of the closet because he knew Avery was going to get cold, and he said he didn't want to hear her complaining the whole time. So while they're out, he makes her put on the jacket, and she ends up getting hungry, ends up finding gummies in the jacket and starts eating them, not knowing that they had THC in them. So Logan came up with this idea to make her look good in front of the family. So he told the preacher that Avery would read books, a story. So when he realizes that she's high, he goes to tell this little boy who is guarding the preacher's door to tell the preacher that Avery is sick and she can't do it no more. But the little boy forgets to tell, and Avery ends up having to get up and read the story. So of course she's high, so the way that she's telling the story is inaccurate, but it's like a modern twist on the story, and she ends up quoting Cool in the Gang, the Celebration song or whatever, and the little girl's like, that's cool, is that Cool in the Gang? And she gets the church to like sing the song or whatever. And the preacher actually likes it because it got participation that he never got before or whatever. He thanks her for it and tells, them, don't be a stranger. Then Logan and Avery talk about, they get a moment together and they end up talking about like their relationship and what went wrong. And they had a back and forth that ultimately makes Logan get up and leave. I think it was late that night. She was hunting a snack and he was in there working on his business proposal. And they end up talking about it. And because he doesn't want things to blow up, he just gets up and leaves and goes to bed. Avery sits there and eat a dozen cookies. And and the next day when she hears Erica, and Cameron, and Erica is talking about the cookies that she made for, I forgot who she made them for. She realizes that she did something wrong. So, Logan just so happens to come downstairs after this realization, and, Logan asked him to keep Erica busy so that she can cover her tracks, whatever. So she ends up blaming what happened on the dog, and Erica starts freaking out. And they take him to the dog to the vet. The dog's name is Veronica, by the way. I was like, what? They take the dog to the vet, and the vet is telling him everything he would have to do to get the chocolate out of the dog's system. Erica is basically hyperventilating at this point. Then Avery ends up talking her into allowing her to stay with the dog while she goes through the procedure. And, she would, she could go out because it was too much for her. So she finally agrees to let Avery stay with the dog. But as soon as she leaves, Avery comes clean to the vet and tells them that the dog didn't eat the chocolate cookie, she did. And she wants him to lie about it. Eventually, the vet agrees after Avery starts telling him why she did it or whatever, and he charges her $1,400 for him pretending and not actually doing nothing. She pays it and they leave. Callum ends up catching Avery and Logan talking about their past, and he blackmails them, tells them to get him some alcohol or he will tell everybody that they used to date. They go out later that night, they go out to the club, and Sophie ends up coming. Avery gets a call, and she has to leave. She gets a call and she walks outside, but while she's looking through the window, she can see the connection between Sophie and Callum. And it kind of like alarms her a little bit, but she doesn't make a big deal out of it. She goes back into the club and tells Callum that she has to go, because the person who is trying to sell their house needs the key or whatever. So, Logan ends up, Callum tells her that he's too drunk to go. So Logan ends up telling them that, I'll take her or whatever to go to our route with her or whatever. And Callum is like, yeah, because I'm too drunk to drive, whatever. So they leave and they go. And Logan first sits in the car, but since she's taking a while to come back out, he goes in and he finds her on the floor crying about, her childhood home getting sold. Um and so they like have a moment. Of course, he gives her a pep talk and started talking to her about, her mom and a lot of the things that he said to her the last time they spoke. And he was saying, pretty much doubling down on what he was saying, that he actually feels like she ran away. She doesn't disagree, but she also doesn't really address the issue or whatever. So they go back home and they go they go their separate ways. Logan ends up catching Cam coming home late, and Cam asked him not to tell Avery. And he said, okay, he agrees to it, but of course, I didn't think that he was ever going to like not tell her. Okay, the next day, Cassie, Logan, Cam, and Avery go shopping for their secret Santas. They end up splitting up, and then Logan sees Avery in the store, and he goes to her to try to tell her what happened, and Cam came in the house late. She tells him that she's not his to worry about anymore, so he just drops it. Callum busts them, whispering about their relationship and stuff again, and he pretty much like capitalizes on it or whatever. Okay, all of the family have this dinner, and it's really awkward. Like, everybody is, being kind of awkward because there are a lot of things that are going on in secret behind the scenes or whatever. Logan ends up catching Logan ends up catching Cassie and Cam's dad cheating with Sophia's mother, and it turns out they was having an affair for years or whatever. And everything comes out at the Secret Santa while they're giving each other gifts. When Cassie surprises Logan bringing his mom and grandma to dinner. And when Logan hugs his mom, he whispers and says, "Avery is here, act like you don't know her." However, the grandma, who has Alzheimer's, they don't feel like she's gonna say anything, but she ends up recognizing Avery and telling her that it's nice to see her there. And then they're like, "How do y'all know each other?" Because Avery and Logan said that they didn't know each other. And they're like, "How do y'all know each other?" And the grandma was like, "I caught these two going at it like rabbits one time or whatever." And so Logan and Avery don't got a choice but to admit that they used to date. And it causes confusion, and then everything starts coming out. Callum tells the mama that the dog didn't eat the cookies. It was actually Avery. And then they find out that the dad and Sophia's mom was having an affair. Erica says she knew all along and that she didn't care. She was like, "Your dad is the happiest he's ever been, and he's around less, so I don't care." Because she clearly does not like this man. She was bossing him around the whole time. So when they're about to leave, like, Every pack her stuff to go, and Cam asked her, like, "Are you leaving?" And she's like, "Should I be leaving? Like, what happened between you and Sophia?" And he didn't respond. He just kind of like backs away. So she leaves, and like, Logan is going to tell her bye or whatever, and he asks if he could call her, and she says no. So while she goes back home, and her apartment, her apartment, her dad stops by and gives her the key to her childhood home, and said that, the person who talked him into not selling the home was very convincing or whatever. And it turns out that Logan was the one who reached out to her dad and told her dad that she was having a hard time letting the childhood home go. So her dad ends up giving it to her, and he tells her, "You do have to pay me because I do have to live my life." Okay. So after realizing that, Logan did this good deed for her, she goes to Erica and gives her Logan's proposal to give to Stan. And she tells Erica, "If you don't do it, I'm coming every day to bother you." So everybody is moving on with their lives. Avery moves into her childhood home, and Logan spends time with his mother and grandma. Logan ends up meeting with Stan and his boss, and agrees to work with Stan on the residential community that he wanted to build. Stan ends up turning down the deal with Logan's boss and saying that he wants what Logan proposed. and he gives Logan a choice. Are you gonna work with me? And I got the idea that working with Stan would mean that Logan's boss would fire him because, you know, you're working with somebody else and they chose you over me. So they end up working together or whatever. It goes to Avery having a housewarming, and Logan shows up and asks her for a second chance, like he did. He did like the big speech that he did at her going away party, but this time he asked her for a second chance. I thought he was gonna ask to marry her, but he didn't. But it makes sense for him to start slow. So she agrees to give him a second chance and they kiss. And, you know, it goes off, and then like the post-credit scene, I guess, 1 year later, Stan and Erica drops off cookies to Avery and Logan. So Stan and Erica ends up together since their significant others were cheating with each other. And Logan and Avery ends up together and they're engaged. So I feel like this movie was very chaotic. Like, it was very fast paced. So many things were happening at the same time. But I also liked how everything came out. It came out during the Secret Santa. It was interesting. It was entertaining. It was fun. I'm not going to rate this movie just like I didn't do the others, but I really liked it. And I do feel like y'all should check it out. I mean, if y'all don't like Christmas movies like me, I feel like a movie like this, I'm not gonna say it will make you like Christmas movies, but it's a pretty good movie regardless of what time of year you watch it. I do feel like sometimes, you know, you only watch certain things during the holiday, but you can definitely watch this movie any time of the year and it doesn't, you know, it doesn't feel weird. Like, I actually really liked it. I enjoyed it. It was funny. It was entertaining. The acting was pretty good as well. And it also was not the typical Christmas movie. I kind of feel like everybody is like, I'm not going to say changing the formula, but they're deviating from it being about the typical Christmas. Like, you know, there has to be a wish granted by Christmas. Somebody is overly obsessed with Christmas and they need this, that, and the third to happen. Yeah, it wasn't that. It was just like a regular romance story that ended with I thought it ended in the way that I wanted to see it, and I wanted to see them back together and giving each other a second chance. But I like how everything played out. Was it predictable? Most of it, yeah, but at the same time, everything is not meant to be unpredictable and mystery. If it was supposed to be, it would be a mystery, it would be a thriller, it would be a you know, one of those movies that had the plot twists and all of this stuff. But Christmas movies are not built like that. They're not supposed to be unpredictable. They actually are just supposed to get you in the spirit. It's supposed to be something, you know, like I said, to get you in the spirit, something for you to watch and, you know, to love during the holidays or even after the holidays. It doesn't matter. But all in all, it was a good movie, and I do think y'all should check it out. If y'all have already seen it, let me know what y'all think about it. If not, and y'all go watch it after this review, come back and let me know if you agree with how I feel about it. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about the movie and my review, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye! Before you go, check out my website at srgrahamwrites.org and subscribe to my mailing list to get exclusive updates on works in progress, other news, and blog posts. Thank you.